today we are going to be talking about the comprehension strategy called Predict What Will Happen Next. And while we're predicting, we're going to look at what we're reading. We're going to decide what will happen next based on what we read in the pictures in the book, and then we will see if our predictions are right. Okay, so we are going to use the book, The True Story of the Three Little Pigs. So most of us have read the story of the Three Little Pigs. So we are going to use our prior knowledge based on that book as we read this book to make some predictions. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever seen my side of the story. Based on the cover of this book, who do you think is going to be the narrator? The wolf? All right, let's see. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how the whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. You're right. The wolf is going to be the narrator. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think that you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. Can you predict why the wolf would need a cup of sugar? It could be because he's making tea. It could be he's making cookies. That's a good idea. And maybe he's making a cake. Very good. Well, let's read on and see. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold. I ran out of sugar. So he did. He was making a cake. Very good prediction. So I walked down the street to my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig. He had built his whole house out of... Does anyone remember? Can anyone predict what he made his house out of based on your prior knowledge? And there's a picture. Straw or sticks? Let's see. He had built the whole house out of straw. Kind of looks like a straw house from here. Can you believe it? I mean, who in their right mind would build their house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. Then, that's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. Can anyone predict what might happen next? He's got a cold, that's right. You think he's going to blow the house down? You think that's how it really happened? No? Well, we'll have to wait until the end of the story and find out. And I sneezed, a great sneeze. And you know what? The whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham lying there in the straw, so I ate it up. Think of it as a cheeseburger, just lying there. If a cheeseburger was just lying there, would you eat it? Me neither. I don't know where it came from. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar, so I went to the next neighbor's house. Based on the picture and what we know about the Three Little Pigs. What did this little pig make his house out of? That's right, straw. And do you think that the wolf is going to sneeze this one down? You think so? Okay, let's wait and see. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks. Very good. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, Wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was a second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. You're right. That one came down too. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open, so I did what the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was getting a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old Granny's birthday, so I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family, because he made his house out of... What do you think he made his house out of? That's right. He made his house out of bricks. Do you think the wolf is going to sneeze the brick house down? You don't think so? Let's find out. I knocked on the bricks house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear sweet old Granny's birthday. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday cake card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. Well, that wasn't nice. Now, usually, I'm a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time, I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real scene. The cops showed up, and he's trying to break in the little pig's house. And he's huffing and puffing, and he's being really ugly. Do you think that's going to be good for the wolf? No. Do you think he's going to be in trouble? Based on what we just learned? Yes. Let's see. The rest, as they say, is history. Big bad wolf. I'll huff and I'll puff. Red Riding Hood settles dispute out of court. A.T. Wolf, big and bad. The news reporters found out that the two little pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy was going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all this huff and puff and blow your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar. Based on this book and the other book, The Three Little Pigs, that we know well, do you think the wolf is telling the truth? Some say yes and some say no. I guess we'll never know.